Hey, what's up, guys? So today I wanted to talk about the PvP changes that Guild Wars 2 has been putting in, and kind of offer my opinion on everything. And actually, I have an idea that I would love to see Guild Wars 2 implement as far as their tournament system goes, from a game that I used to play. That I think they did the tournament idea very well. So I'll tell you about that later. But I wanted to kind of express my opinion about the changes that Guild Wars 2 has been making. So for me, taking out the A-team paid tournament was an amazing idea. Just putting in the two-team single match, for me that's a much greater. I just think that's a greater idea because paid tournament queues are pretty empty, and it was just taking forever to get into a paid tournament. So like they did in Guild Wars 1, I'm not sure why they don't do something like that where you could go into the random arenas and then if you win, you stay in, and then if you lose, you're out. So if you lose, you have to queue up again. But if as long as you keep winning, you keep playing and getting rewards and things like that. But anyway, that's not the case right now. Hopefully they'll implement something like that in the future. But ever since I've been going into the mist now, there's so many people in the mist. Just maybe middle of January, I kept seeing less and less people in the mist. I think people are just starting to get bored with the system that Guild Wars 2 had put into place for the PvP for the PvPers. So it's nice to see that they actually realize that people are not enjoying the PvP in Guild Wars 2 so much. Not because of the PvP itself, but the systems in the PvP area are just not very good. I do agree having daily tournaments and monthly tournaments and things like that, but they need to do it in a better way instead of just queuing up and waiting for a tournament because you run into the problem where people don't queue up. And especially for oceanic people, if they want to play in tournaments, a lot of the higher end PvPers are from Europe and they're from the States. So if you're trying to be in a top team and you're from Australia or you're from Japan or something like that, it's going to be very difficult because you're not going to be able to find other people who are queuing up for the paid tournaments at the same time. So there's one system that it comes from a game I used to play a lot, and that's Warcraft 3. So I don't know if you guys have played Warcraft 3 before, but what they used to do is they used to have every week they would have maybe 2 or 3 different tournaments, and then they would change up the details of the tournament. So sometimes it was like a 1 vs 1 tournament, or sometimes a 2 vs 2 tournament. If you don't know what Warcraft 3 is, it's just an RTS like StarCraft 2. And sometimes they would choose the maps, and then they would choose which races you could play and things like that. And basically, they would give you a time when the tournament started. So it starts at 6 o'clock at night. So when you want to play in the tournament, you go into the game, you hit play. As soon as 6 o'clock comes, there's an option to hit play, and then you play a few preliminary rounds. And if you win enough preliminary rounds, usually it's like 5 or 6. They have a window of time for the preliminary rounds. So if you win enough preliminary rounds, then you get put into the actual tournament, and then you can play from there. And it was always crowded. Even Warcraft 3 doesn't have a huge population. The tournaments there's always so many people participating in the tournaments. So I can see Guild Wars 2 having get rid of the free tournaments and get rid of the paid tournaments and just put in the 2-team single match systems, even for the free version of it, not just paid. Because I kind of compare it in a way to League of Legends, where the free place would be where you're farming for your tickets, your paid tickets, and you're learning a lot in free. But when you want to move up to to where the real action is, the real competitive scene is, then you would move up to paid, try to get on a team and things like that. And they could even add in, instead of just having to be in a 5-man group for the paid, they could do something like League of Legends does, where you can queue up solo or with another player, and they could have a different category for those type of people. So anyway, I think Guild Wars 2 can have that, the free and the paid, just a single match, and then have the daily tournaments like they said they wanted to have. So you have, they need to set a time. I guess the problem would be for other places, like if you set the time for the States, and it might be difficult for your European players or Asian players to compete. But you could even have maybe like 2 daily tournaments that could kind of meet the times of all the regions. So you just set a time, and then teams will join up on that when the time comes, and then they play a few preliminary rounds, and then if they're good enough, they can develop a system for the preliminary rounds. Like you play, all the people play until there's like 16 teams or 8 teams left. So you do like a double elimination thing, or just the amount of games you won, or something like that. And then if you're good enough throughout the preliminary rounds, then you get put into the actual tournament, and then the tournament goes on from there. So I think that would be a good thing for the for daily tournaments for Guild Wars 2, to set a specific time instead of just waiting for everyone to queue up and then start the tournament. But overall, I think Guild Wars 2 is finally starting to make the changes that it needs to. They did come out and say that they already have added in matchmaking and ranking, but it's kind of like in testing right now. It's not finalized or anything like that. So they have kind of added that in already, but hopefully we'll see a more detailed version of that later on. So just as a recap, they are getting rid of the paid 8-team tournaments, and they're putting in the paid 2-team single match tournaments or matches. And every week they're going to be changing maps, so this week now is going to be Battle of Kylo. I do have an opinion about that. I'm just hoping that it doesn't become monotonous playing the same map over and over. But then again, I have compared a few things to League of Legends in this video, so League of Legends is always on the same map, and it doesn't really get monotonous for a lot of people. So maybe it won't be, and it'll actually give people, especially now since custom arenas aren't out, it'll give people a lot of practice on a certain map, and they can develop strategies and things like that. So it'd be nice. I think it would be great to see what people could come up with on maps instead of just the basic strategies. It'd be really nice to start seeing some really creative stuff going on. Anyway, I'm pretty happy about the way Guild Wars 2 is going right now. They still do need a lot of work. I think they made a few somewhat fatal flaws since release. In my opinion anyway, that's really kind of set the game back a little bit. But it is still a somewhat new MMO. And after a while they'll get it fixed. And it does look like they're heading in the right direction. And they're taking the community feedback well. And they're really putting in things that people are asking for. Alright guys, if you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave it below and I'll get back to you. Make sure you subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 content, and check out our website at addictgaming.com for content over there. I am working on a ranger build right now, so make sure you look out for that, and that should be coming in the next day or so. Alright guys, this has been Burnin from addictgaming.com, and thanks for listening. I hope you agree, or even if you disagree with my opinions, make sure you let me know, and I would love to talk to you about it. So this has been Burnin from addictgaming.com, and remember, gaming addiction is a good thing, so keep on